human beings, each of us on a path of cosmic progression from a third dimensional to a fifth dimensional state of being. This is something that is not just happening to humanity, but to everything on the planet that manifests consciousness. The year of 2012 is significant because this marks the point when the consciousness of the Earth fully becomes fifth dimensional. There is this idea of the higher soul self, an immortal part of us that sits in another plane or dimension that resonates to an energetic vibration akin to that of pure love and light. This cosmic perspective of our existence is one which we seldom consider when dealing with our earthly affairs. Could it be that we have become disconnected from the universe to the point where we are no longer aware of our wider cosmic purpose for being here? Listening to some of the lectures on the digital archive of the Wessex Research Group network, Paul Jenkins is someone who has worked with extraterrestrials, and it would seem that human beings have a particularly challenging evolutionary path because we incarnate into the most physical of environments, planet Earth, and our task is to evolve into beings of unconditional love, like the angels, through our free will. This is indeed a mighty task when you consider the challenges that our physical environment provides, and the fact that no other aspect of consciousness has free will apart from humanity. The process is made even harder because when we incarnate into a new life, we remember hardly anything or nothing of our previous experiences. Fifth dimensional beings are said to have knowledge of past lives. Could we cope with knowing about everyone we have ever been or what we have ever done? We might come to realize that we have all experienced being each other, male or female, and all ethnic creeds. William Arkell puts it another way. He likens our evolutionary journey to climbing a mountain. We are at the bottom of the mountain, climbing up, whilst the angelic realms sit at the top, far closer to the creative source of consciousness. Beings in these realms do not experience physicality. Angels also contain the spark of divinity through the higher self, but stand close to the source that drives the universe. Some might call this the Godhead. John Lennon described it as the energy of unconditional love. The human challenge is to stand at that furthest point from this creative source of love and through experience work our way back towards it. Being so far from this source, the energy, the vibration of our earthly plane is denser. But through the slender link with the higher self and knowledge of the higher angelic realms, we avoid becoming totally disconnected, so enabling us to remember what we are meant to be doing, to aspire to lift ourselves towards those higher vibrations through our conduct whilst here on earth. If we can bring the concept of love fully into our lives, we can then stand alongside the angels as beings of unconditional love. The difference being that we will have attained this over many lifetimes through experiencing physicality. This is something the angels and angelic beings have never experience. To do this out of our free will would then enable us to stand as co-creators of the universe, able to help other beings in their evolutionary path. This statement implies that in our future lifetimes we could incarnate onto other planets. If we assume that there are many types of consciousness across the universe, we could go anywhere, fitting into an appropriate body or shell that matches planetary conditions. For example, there might well be beings on Venus. Planetary conditions on Venus would mean that any body or shell that could host consciousness might be completely different from our own human form. The progression to a state of fifth dimensional consciousness is but one step along a long evolutionary path that involves the joining of the higher self and our physical reality. This soul aspect of the higher self currently sits between the highest essence of our divine spark and the physical body. When living out successive lifetimes in our physical body, we are building our individuality, something that gives us our uniqueness or the individual soul. Physical life is limited, but the sense of soul identity moves on into another reality upon death. The spark of divinity is being individualized and becomes a unique expression of divine potential that enables us to learn through experience, and this can be built into our higher selves. During a lifetime, all the information gathered through experience is sent to the soul identity. We, of course, do not realize this is happening as an ongoing process. To understand the path of the soul, we have to understand our past, not just in terms of lifetimes, but from the point of creation that has put us in the position where we are now. At present, and quite understandably, our sense of identity is with our physical condition. But with the joining of the higher self, our perspective of identity will be challenged. We sit in an earthly vibration that is different from the one in which the higher self sits. And our earthly experiences may not always be pleasant, often devoid of love and respect to ourselves and others. Indeed, one only has to look around the world and at our history to see how challenging our evolutionary task is, and how fine a line there must be between making evolutionary progress in a lifetime and letting those challenges overwhelm us. The universe, then, is a great university of learning. We are learning to experience what life is like when love is not there. For then, it is only then can we truly appreciate it and want to incorporate it into every aspect of our being. We are learning to be divine human beings. And let us not lose sight of our individual and collective human purpose, which at this point in time is to anchor the vibration of unconditional love in the earthly plane. That is to say, create the planet of love, raising the earthly vibration towards that of a heavenly one. What then is man without spirit? What is man if he cannot connect his spirit with the great universal spirit?